Welcome to Belgrade, the capital of Serbia. This is country number 32 for us and our third stop on our 180-day trip around the world. Now you may be curious why we chose Belgrade, Serbia as one of our stops on this journey around the world. Well, if you're new to the channel, we actually spent all of 2022 hopping around Europe, and Serbia was one of the only countries that we didn't get to. We're starting our day at the Belgrade Fortress, which is currently under a little bit of construction, but still looks absolutely incredible. I love these medieval cities in the Balkans. We feel so nostalgic, like we're back in Bosnia, back in Croatia. We are so excited to finally explore Serbia. It's been a real journey to get here. The first time we tried to go to Belgrade last year, it was just a whole thing. I don't want to rehash it. If you want to know what happened, link in the description, we made a video about it. And this time around, we had to have an overnight layover in the Istanbul airport just to get here. This is not how we expected our adventure to start here in Europe, but our sleepover at the Istanbul International Airport is almost over. It was quite an experience, and honestly, it was kind of fun because all these lounges had unlimited drinks, unlimited foods. We now have access to thousands of airport lounges around the world, thanks to our Capital One Venture X card, which really came in handy when a long delay in Chicago caused us to miss our connecting flight in Istanbul. Check out our referral link in the description if you're interested in signing up. But we are finally in Belgrade, and we're so excited to show you around this special Balkan capital. The fortress gate leads right into Kalemegdan Park, a massive public area full of medieval artifacts, compelling monuments, and a stunning lookout point over the Sava River, which cuts right through the heart of Belgrade.
This park is huge. There are so many things to explore. You could honestly spend an entire afternoon here.
Any guesses on what's in there? Beer bottles. On our way out of the park, we noticed a collection of missiles, howitzers, and tanks that was just sitting underneath the bridge, which seemed a little strange. We eventually figured out that it was the open-air military museum, and most of it was German weaponry that was captured by the Red Army and the Yugoslav partisans during the Belgrade Offensive in World War II.
Is your head too big?
Yeah. Kneza Mihaila is definitely the heart of the city and where the most action happens. We were here last night and it was absolutely hopping despite it being a Monday night. Belgrade has a reputation for having great nightlife, and I think that even though this seems like a tourist center where you have all the shops and you have all of the stands and everything, it's definitely where a lot of the tourists hang out, but locals also come here because there's some great restaurants and great bars.
In the middle of this pedestrian street, there's a public drinking fountain. We've kind of been hanging out around it, seeing if any locals are actually drinking from it before we do. And we've seen a few people do that, so we're gonna try the spring water. Now, as Americans, it's kind of revolting to us to think about drinking from a public fountain. Public drinking fountains aren't actually that unheard of. We've actually seen this before in Basel, Switzerland and Sofia, Bulgaria. So we're gonna taste the spring water and see how it is. Smell? It doesn't smell like anything, it's water. It's good. Yeah, it's good. It's not that cold. It's our second day in Europe and we're already missing ice so much.
Honestly, it's really good water. I was expecting like a bad aftertaste or something, but it comes from a spring underground. I do think it's funny though, there's like a lot of pigeons and birds around here and that's kind of gross. And then people just like bringing their dogs up and the dogs lap it up right outside of the pool. So probably not the most sanitary place, but hey, it's free and we'll take that. It's just such a foreign idea to us to drink out of a public fountain. I mean, doing that in New York or Chicago, it would be so unsafe and so unsanitary. But it's cool. Here in Europe, it feels like public services are just more appreciated. That goes with the transportation as well. People just appreciate more and take more care of things that are public.
Since we're only in Europe a short while, we definitely have to check out the cafe culture. That is one aspect of European life that we miss so much. We're on our way to a place called Drip.
Really enjoyed our time at Drip Coffee. I just feel like there are certain things in Europe that are done a little bit better than where we're from. Coffee's included in that, bread obviously. It's kind of like the staples, you know, the simple things. They perfect the simple things really well. We haven't even looked up the tipping situation in Serbia yet. I assume it's kind of like 5 to 10%. It's always funny when you go to European countries, they're all different when it comes to tipping. So it's like every time you enter a new country, you have to reset the way you think about tipping. I definitely made sure to leave a tip over there though. They were really nice to us and we stayed there for a while. So always nice to do even if it's not necessarily the custom. Here in Serbia, they use the Serbian dinner. I thought it was dinar before we got here, but it's dinner like the meal. So that's gonna take some getting used to. I keep wanting to say dinar. The general rule of thumb, I think, for conversion is 100 dinar is about $1. I think it's like 92 cents. And I love the $100 bill, or 100 dinar bill, because it's Nikola Tesla. How cool is that? Nikola Tesla was Serbian, and there's actually a Nikola Tesla Museum here in Belgrade that we are gonna visit later today. I'm really looking forward to learning more about this extremely impactful inventor. From what I understand, I'm definitely not an expert, but I think Thomas Edison gets a little too much credit for his invention of the light bulb. I think Nikola Tesla and what he did for electricity, electric currents, is a big reason why we have the technologies we have today. The aromas of this thing are amazing, between the onions, the cheese in there, the sauce. I'm not really sure how to eat it though, I'll be honest. I don't know if you like pick it up like a pita, or if you, I mean we did get a fork and knife, so I assume you use that at some point. Maybe let's get a little piece of the cevapi to try. Exactly like Bosnia. A little different than the meat in Romania. Just a little different texture. I think Sydney will like it more because Sydney's not big on the texture of the meat in Romania.
That's a lot of onion in there. I hope it's different. I hope the texture is good. But oh my god, this pita is so beautiful. Texture's good. I feel like all the goodies are at the bottom though. Like I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh yeah. Diced onion, really good cucumber sauce. It goes so well together, it's so good. It was very, very buttery, which was glorious. I absolutely enjoyed it, but it's definitely heavy. Like it's something that you might want to take a nap after eating, but we're gonna do the opposite of taking a nap. We're about to walk all the way across the city to see one of the largest Orthodox churches in the world.
It's not that I didn't like the cevapi. I just think I wouldn't order it again. I needed like some sauce. There was just so much onion. And the meat was actually pretty good, but I'm just really weird with meat in general right now. The Shopska salad was to die for. This Balkan cheese. I don't even know what type of cheese it is, but it just melts in your mouth.
We're back over the Kneza Mihaila, and I'm just so amazed that literally every time we've been over here, morning, afternoon, and night, there are people walking around. It's so lively. It definitely feels like the beating heart of the city and where everything kind of happens. And usually when you have that in cities, it's really, really touristy, but this just doesn't feel touristy at all. I mean, it feels like a lot of these people walking around live here. The Kneza Mihaila leads to Republic Square, which we just entered, and they're setting something up. I don't know what it is specifically, but There's a lot of basketball hoops. I wonder if it's like a dunk contest or a three-point contest or something. They are so big into basketball here in Serbia, which is just awesome. It's basically as big as soccer, which is so rare for Europe. And one of the stars of the NBA, Nikola Jokic, comes from Serbia. They definitely celebrate his success. And then in another sport, in tennis, Novak Djokovic, arguably the greatest tennis player of all time, he comes from Serbia as well. So they're definitely big into sports here, and it'll be interesting to see in the next couple of decades how big basketball gets. I'm guessing that Nikola Jokic is not going to be the last NBA player from Serbia. Full disclosure, the jet lag is really killing us right now. I guess we really did travel 10,000 miles in 10 days. We have not been able to stay awake for an entire day, and it's the morning, we're already starting to feel a little tired. So I think I know the solution. We're gonna try Nikola Jokic's signature energy drink, Joker. I've been seeing billboards for it everywhere. And when else are we gonna have the opportunity to try the NBA Finals MVP's signature drink in his home country? I hope this gives us what we need. It literally says no sleep on the bottom, so the can is pretty cool. I'm not sure what the owl symbolizes, but it's definitely the Denver Nuggets colors. And you have the Nikola Jokic here, and then his signature. I'm sorry, Nikola, I don't really like that taste. That's very reminiscent of Red Bull. Maybe a couple more sips just to the juices flowing, but I don't know if I can finish that.
Glad it's definitely in a small can. I would try the other flavors though, like mango. We were supposed to get mango, and Max got the yellow one, which we now know just tastes like Red Bull. Oh my gosh.
This is the second largest Orthodox Church in Europe. We've actually been to the first one as well. But when we went to the one in Sofia, we didn't get the chance to go inside. We are absolutely stunned by the interior of this church. I mean, everywhere you look, just beautiful artwork on the ceiling, on the walls. This incredibly bright gold color that goes all the way around. All of the Cyrillic script everywhere as well. This is just a very, very unique place, and I think it's really cool how anybody can just walk in and appreciate it. You know, a lot of times when there's these famous churches in Europe, it gets really touristy because you have to wait in line, you have to reserve a time, you have to check your bag at the door, things like that. Here the doors are just wide open and people can come in and appreciate it.
This truly is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. There are hundreds of thousands of tiny gold mosaic tiles that make up all of these paintings depicting Orthodox saints and other biblical figures. But the one that obviously stands out to me is, of course, Jesus at the back. My neck is starting to hurt because I can't stop looking up at all of these amazing mosaics. I wish I could just like lay down and take it all in.
I don't think we were fully prepared for the beauty that we were going to see in this building, and I'm really glad that we tried to keep our research before to a minimum. We knew there was a big mosaic, but we didn't want to see exactly what it looked like until we laid our own eyes on it. If you are in Belgrade, this is an absolute must. You cannot miss visiting the Sava Church. The Nikola Tesla Museum is absolutely a must if you're here in Belgrade. I'm so happy we waited. It's kind of hard to get in because it's very small, so they only let small groups in at a time. I just feel like I learned so much on that tour. You definitely don't need a science or engineering background to understand the significance of this man and his inventions. One kind of funny, quirky thing about it is that they told us that he actually never lived in Belgrade, and he was only in Belgrade for about 36 hours in his entire lifetime. So Sydney and I have actually spent more time in Belgrade than Nikola Tesla ever did, so it's kind of funny that the museum is here. But his ambition and his inventions led him to all of the most iconic cities in Europe and eventually New York City. I think my biggest takeaway is that we really have a lot to thank him for. This society that we live in now, this global society where all these big cities use energy. Without him and his inventions, it probably wouldn't be this way. It probably wouldn't be as efficient. His creativity, his mind, truly a one-of-a-kind person, and it's cool that everything is kind of immortalized in that museum. His ashes are actually in there, so it's almost like a memorial to his life. Another thing we really liked about it is it's so interactive. They show you the induction motors and everything and how it all works, and you actually get to shock yourself. And it's just the funny thing, like when they turned on the big one, it was like, oh my god, I was scared that like there's gonna be lightning bolts coming down at us. So fun, so interactive, so informational, and a ticket to the museum only costs you $7. I don't think a trip to Belgrade is complete without going there. Now, Serbian food has a reputation of being hearty, flavorful, delicious. We're really excited to get started. We're definitely gonna be very full at the end of the day, but we just can't wait to dig in. Stop number 1 right around the corner.